Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and I'm going to start this layout with a cut file, and this is one of Paige's cut files. It's called Flower Border, and it's basically just one big flower, but I duplicated it a few times and resized it and created sort of a crooked vertical design. And I'm going to use the cardstock here with the cutouts as a stencil. I'm going to save the shapes for another project, but I pulled out this polka dotted paper from the Fancy Free 12 by 12 paper pad, and I'm going to use that as my background. And since the bulk of the design is going to be in the center of the page, I wanted to kind of fade out some of the dots, and I'm going to do that with white gesso. And I do this a lot. White gesso is great for priming your paper and for fading out patterns and colors, kind of like you see here. So now what I'm going to do is stick my homemade stencil over the pattern paper, and I'm going to come in with some modeling paste and my palette knife and just scrape the paste right over these flowers. And so what this is going to do is create some really fun textured flowers on my background. And modeling paste is fun to play with. You could really do this with any stencil. You could make your own stencil with any cut file and do this technique. You're going to get like a raised, rough, bumpy texture of whatever shape it is that you're doing here. And since this is cardstock, you know, it's not as strong as actual stencil material, but that's okay. You know, you could use this maybe only once, or if it stays together when you peel it off, maybe could use it a few more times, just depending on the strength of the cardstock. I didn't wait until my gesso on the background was completely dry, so you know, because I'm impatient, of course. So when I peeled it off, a little bit of the paper peeled off with it, but that was just me being impatient. But I think it's okay because it's going to wind up giving me some awesome texture. So you can kind of see the flowers raised up there. And now that everything is dry, looks really neat. It's hard to see because it's white on white here, but this is going to look magical when I start to add the shimmers. I'm going to use these 3 color photos. Of course, they're selfies of me and Paige. I've been scrapbooking selfies with me and my girls a lot lately. They're just, I have so many of them because we do it all the time, and they're just always the cutest pictures. So look how this happens. This is where the magic happens. You take your sprays, and you could do this with watercolor, oxide ink pads, anything at all. I'm using shimmer sprays. I'm just spraying it directly onto the modeling paste here, and then adding a little bit of water to it, and then letting it run, and instantly you can see the flower shapes pop off the page because the ink color is going to run around the middle, the circle, and around the petals. And it's so cool. I love how this turned out, and I just love the way the paint looks kind of runny, and one color is going to blend into the next. And I just picked out some colors from my stash that coordinate with the polka dots in this background, and also in the Pick Me Up collection, because I'm going to use a lot of embellishments from that collection, and I think that the colors in that collection match this Fancy Free paper really well. So I've got some red tones, some hot pinks, some aquas, a little bit of lime green, and some golden yellow. And I'm just spraying and then spritzing it with water and then tilting the paper so it runs. And it just basically does the work for me. Now you can really see the flowers. I think that looks so cool. Now, since the photos have some navy blue in it, she's wearing a navy blue shirt, I wanted to add that darker tone to the flowers, and so I'm going to add that on top of the middle section there and just let it go. I'm going to add a little bit of splatters, but then I felt like I didn't need a whole lot of splatters since I had all the polka dots on the background, so I just want to let that dry. And look how bold this is. This is such a cool technique. It's nice and rough and bumpy when you touch it. It's just so cool. I love this. So here we go. I'm going to try to have 2 photos up at the top and then 1 on the bottom, and you can see here how all these colors really complement the Pick Me Up paper. So this is the Pick Me Up 12 by 12 paper pad, and I'm going to pull out 2 papers from it. If you get the paper pad, you're going to have gold foil on a lot of the papers in there. I don't know if you are aware of that, but the single sheets are not foiled, but the ones in the paper pad are. So everybody's seen this floral paper by now. I don't remember the exact number of it, of the loose paper. Like I said, this one came from the paper pad, but it's the one with all these really pretty colorful flowers. And so I'm just gonna fussy cut a few of those clustered flowers out to use as layers around the pictures. And I think the colors match so nicely. I love the dark navy color. So I did some of that cutting, and then I did some stitching off camera. I just pulled out some navy blue thread and then went in a circle around each of the middle of the flowers, and I love the big difference that made. It just kind of ties in that navy color, and it makes the circles a little more crisp, and of course it's going to add texture, and I just love it. I love stitching and mixed media together. So much fun. So I just added a little bit of tissue paper behind the pictures for a little bit of a border. And then I'm going to start to work on embellishments. I've got the Pick Me Up chipboard here. And I really wanted to use some pieces that I hadn't used before, because I have a couple sets of the chipboard here. And so I pulled out some flowers to tuck in here and there. And then I'm just gonna kind of try things out. Not quite sure what I want my title to be or where it's gonna go. I did fussy cut a couple of pieces from that foiled cut apart sheet, and I'm gonna use the red piece that says this, and then the dark aqua green color paper that says that, kind of like this and that, and they matched perfectly. So I'm gonna use the red piece up at the top and the green piece down at the bottom. And this is just some adhesive foam I'm going to add to raise up the pictures, because I didn't want to glue them flat since the background's kind of bumpy and, you know, it's not completely flat either. So I wanted to raise the photos up. And then I pulled out some of the same color thread that I did with the stitching. This is navy blue. I'm going to add a little bit of that to add to that dark blue color. I haven't glued anything down yet. I want to make sure that I like where it's going to go and I like how it looks. And even with all of the stickers and the chipboard, it's not stuck down. In my experience, whenever I use gesso, whether it's white or clear, things do not want to stick to it. And so I always go back and add glue, even to stickers or chipboard. Anything that's already supposed to stick, I always reinforce it with glue when there's mixed media involved, because gesso and stickers do not match, or they don't go well together. So always add glue, because chances are when you go to put this in a photo album and then you go to look at it later on, all the chipboard is probably going to have fallen off. So make sure you glue it down. So I pulled out the ephemera pack from Pick Me Up, as well as the rub-ons, and I'm going to add one of the flower rub-ons underneath this little navy blue piece of chipboard here that says life happens, I think is what it says. And I like how that looks. And then I added another die cut underneath the two pictures, and then I'm going to add this chipboard piece that says today. And it's gold foil, and you'll be able to see the gold foil in the final pictures. It's hard to see here in the light. And here's where I finally decided on my title. I am obsessed with these mini thickers. I hope they are included in the rest of Paige's collections from here on out, because it seems like you hit so many of each letter. And the navy blue is amazing. The white ones are awesome because you can leave them white or you can color them. I'm going to go with the navy blue ones here, and we're going to name this Selfie Giggles, because we were taking selfies and we were giggling. So there you go. Genius, right? Sometimes you just have to look at your pictures and state the obvious. And so that's our title. And I went with the navy blue ones. I am going to wind up tracing around them very lightly with a gold pen, and you'll be able to see them pop off the page a little bit better in the final photos. I didn't want to go with the white ones because I felt like it would really stand out since that flower is so dark. I added a couple of stickers, phrase stickers in, and then I'm going to add a little bit of journaling down here at the bottom. Just talking about how we take selfies and how I love taking selfies with her and making her laugh and hearing her giggle, and it's just something funny that we do. I think I'm almost finished here. Oh, you know it, gold color shine. Of course, I had to add that in because we've got specks of gold. So here you can see the this and the that are shiny gold, the today is gold, and then the gold color shine. I love how this turned out. I love the background. It was just something different I wanted to experiment with. It was fun to make my own stencil using this cut file. So I highly suggest you try it. If you've got a Cameo and you can do die cuts and you want to try some mixed media, use one as a stencil. It's very easy and fun to do. So let me know if you have any questions about any of the techniques or the products or the cut files, anything at all. I'll be more than happy to answer. Let me know. I already said that, didn't I? I think I'm running out of things to say. So I will just say, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. I think it's time for bed. Thanks for watching.